Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bomber and Why did I clap? I don't know why I clapped. It's like I'm excited or something. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bomber and Griffin. Today's joke is that we watched this movie. Here we are to talk about it for a certain period of time before we just start talking about other things.
Yeah.
Is that better?
I
It's very monotone.
yeah, it's a bit better.
It's a bit better.
Um,
So, Ghostbusters 2016. I had not seen this before.
I had
How
I
much? like,
my mum and my sister. I never wanted to watch it at the time, but my mum and my sister made me come out to watch it at the cinemas.
yeah,
And this is the only movie at the cinema that I ever just walked out of like midway through.
yeah. I can't imagine walking out of a cinema, like legitimately, like they've already robbed me of my money, but I suppose it's just that much mush that it's doing more damage than good staying there.
Yeah.
So,
And I will say it was incredibly hard to sit through again. There were multiple times when I had to just like pause it and get up to go get a drink or something.
it
And the
yeah.
TV I was watching it from is in the kitchen, so I, I was just like, fuck, I cannot handle this like without breaks, you know?
uh
Like when I was watching like Batman or whatever, I sat there like the whole time. I was gripped, you know?
yeah,
I was
yeah.
enjoying. But this one I could not sit and watch it all in one sitting.
I am on the same boat. I took me 2 nights to watch this movie. The first night I had to get a
Okay,
little
yeah.
bit buzzed for the first hour of the movie, and then I had to come back to it. And I, in all honesty, I don't hate this, which might be surprising. I don't hate it
You
because
don't?
I don't know, the movie doesn't offend me that much. You know,
I I mean their attempts at comedy offend me, but no.
oh
Just
yeah,
as
the
it.
attempts at comedy are pretty horrendous, but I don't know. I just thought, yeah, it's a movie. It exists. It doesn't feel like
Mm.
it's attacking me or a hate crime. You know, it's
Yeah, no,
just
if I didn't watch it, I wouldn't care about it.
yeah. But
It was
as
sitting like actually sitting down to watch it was awful. Um
yeah, so what's your thoughts on the original Ghostbusters movie?
I actually really enjoy both the original Ghostbusters.
I do too. I know the sequel gets a bad rap,
Everyone
but
says the second one is a lot worse, but I
I
I mean
compared
as
to
a
the
kid I never
first,
really noticed a difference
yeah,
in quality.
we'll have to take a look at them one day. But
Maybe
compared to
they're both
the
on Stan. I was actually gonna rewatch them
yeah,
just
I
on
mean
my own.
I love that first one, and compared to the first, I can see why people don't favor the second as much. But I don't ever remember it being bad. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
my time with it. Uh, so then we get this movie, and now is it really a genuine attempt at making a new Ghostbusters movie, or is it, trying to push a political message? Because I don't know. There's a little bit of a political agenda in there, but
There there's a lot of points where it seems quite heavy-handed in attempts at social commentary.
it's
Um,
yeah, it's portrayal
but
of
it
Chris
doesn't
Hemsworth.
seem, no, it doesn't seem to like want to really like. I mean, like there are some scenes where it goes hard on social commentary, but it doesn't seem to want to commit to that for like the whole runtime of the film.
No,
Um,
I
there are some times where it's like not really that big a deal, but then some scenes just come out of nowhere, and
I,
then
yeah, I think this movie would have gone hard if it just went balls to the wall comedy and just never stopped and just never took anything seriously. You
I,
know,
I mean, I think it is a comedy.
yeah, it is, but they try to have like a serious dramatic moments where you're supposed to care towards the end. And if
Yeah,
they just didn't have that and really did treat it as, yeah, we're gonna have Melissa McCarthy shooting a bloody Ghostbusters gun and have her flying around an alleyway hitting things and just do that. I think it would have been better.
Uh, yeah, I mean, n- literally all of the attempts at comedy fell flat for me, except for the actual last joke of the movie. Um,
There was a couple that worked for me, but go on. Yeah.
what was it?
There was a couple of jokes that worked for me.
No, I did. Yeah, no, it was the literal last joke of the film that I like. I like that was the one that got a chuckle out of me right
Yeah.
before credits came up. But
Full spoilers, and
um,
if you care about spoilers for this movie, shame on you. Yes, go on.
oh yeah, it was just when the uncle says that you can't stack dead bodies in a hearse. I
Yeah.
just thought that was funny. The visual or like the mental image of that.
Anytime I seen him or Dan Aykroyd or Bill Murray, I was thinking, wouldn't it have been fun if it was just all of them as old Ghostbusters, still trying to
Uh,
do it in like a upended third film?
hmm,
You know, obviously we lost one member of the Ghostbusters in 2014, but
he became a real ghost.
he did, and I like what they did in Ghostbusters Afterlife. If I don't think you've seen that.
I haven't actually. We've spoken briefly about it at one point. You said it was pretty good.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. You know, it's not bad by any means, and if you've never seen any Ghostbusters movie before, you'd go, "Yeah, this is a pretty good movie." But it's kind of like Star Wars: The Force Awakens of Ghostbusters. It does all the same beats, and it's not bad, I suppose. But if you've seen the first Ghostbusters, it's like, well, why watch Ghostbusters Afterlife? It's the same movie, just not the original. It doesn't have, Bill Murray's charisma and Dan Aykroyd, you know, having a smoke hang from his lip when he sees a Slimer. So,
Yeah.
and
There's also that weird scene in the first one where the ghost sucks them all off.
yeah, best scene. Best scene. Man, that movie took some risks, didn't it?
I mean, it was a kids' movie in the 80s. What did you expect?
Ah, just a masterpiece, which it was. Yeah,
I
there was a
mean, yeah.
couple jokes that worked for me. I couldn't help but like, I don't think I was laughing at the jokes, but I was laughing at the movie. You know,
I can see that, yeah.
as
You
soon
know,
as
that was kind of what I meant. Like, it was the written joke that made me laugh, not like other circumstances
I think
of
the
the
only
one at the
joke
end.
that's supposed to make you laugh that just caught me off guard when Chris Hemsworth's there for the first time, and then he rubs his eye straight through his glasses.
Oh, yeah.
I just realized like he
That,
didn't have lenses at all. He just started rubbing
that's
his eye.
like that's like a kind of goofy little visual gag, like something you'd see in an airplane.
Yeah, yeah. I just did. I
But then
wasn't
they
ready
call
for it.
attention to it.
No,
And
they
they
don't. They don't put much attention on it, and just how.
no, they do. They do bring up the fact that his glasses
Oh
don't have
yeah,
lenses. That is a big problem with basically all of the jokes, in that they just keep talking about the joke for like half a minute
yeah.
after it's happened, and every single time, I'm just like, "Fuck, I'm gonna need another can of Monster." Um,
Oh no, we're back with the monster sponsorship. Oh,
I
how I've
literally
missed
have
these.
4 cans of Monster sitting on my desk right now.
Dude, I swear you started or closed out one of these podcasts with an entire like 2 minute Monster Energy commercial, like monologue. And I have to go back and find out which one. I hope everyone else is in on this now, and they're gonna have to go through all the podcasts one at a time to find it.
Mm.
But it was good. It's either at the start or the end of one of them.
I I remember doing that, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I remember it was really good.
um,
So yeah, I was laughing at the movie a lot. Like when Melissa McCarthy's possessed, I'm not laughing at a lot of the things that are happening. But as soon as she jumps in the air like a fucking spider monkey, dude, I lost my
yeah,
shit.
some of the okay, we're not gonna bother talking about this movie like properly in order like we did last time. I don't
Nah,
want
I
to do
don't
that.
think so. I've got it written, but I'm just not gonna be able to follow it all.
Yeah, the end, the like when she like jumps into the portal at the end, the actual green screen or whatever looks
Oh yeah.
so fucking terrible.
It's not good. I think a lot of the sets, anything that's physically there, has been done really well. Um, I'm not as
Hmm.
big of an I like not as big of a fan of the colors and the palette of the movie, but whenever they use slime, whenever you know
Yeah.
there is a well, there's generally well made sets, but whenever they go visual effects, it's just so over designed and overdone. Like ghosts just have to have a million things going on at once.
Yeah.
And yeah, by the end of the film, it really started to just feel like noise.
And like all of their like gadgets and shit make it feel like it's trying to be like some kind of action movie at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah. As soon as it tries to be
And
serious,
like
it loses me.
and the entire time I'm like, so all of those gadgets are so fucking like pointless. Literally the only one you need is the proton pack.
Yeah,
No, all of the other ones are just like, what the fuck are you even using that for?
yeah. Just a lot of sub variants.
It's like, yeah, they just wanted to like bring him out for one scene to make him look cool.
Yeah. Oh, another joke I did laugh at was when everything finally goes wrong towards the end of the film. All the police and military show up and get their guns out. I burst out again. I'm thinking they're ghosts. What is the plan, guys? How stupid is everyone in this city? Uh, I
Hmm.
I can't fathom it. No, what doesn't work for me is whenever it tries to be serious, because when it does, it usually doesn't follow through. And a good example would be when Bill Murray shows up, and God, I love Bill Murray. All right, and then they get him killed through just
Yeah.
stupid means. They should not have let this ghost out. It's completely stupid. If you want us to back the protagonists, don't have them do that. But he's
You
killed.
know, if he like opened it and got himself killed, I feel like that would have been a much better way to do that scene rather than she's like, yeah, I'm a fucking like I'm incredibly prideful and I'm just gonna let the ghost out. And everyone should be standing well back
Yeah,
from it because this is like these weapons all use like heavy amounts of nuclear radiation. They're doing it like 10 fucking centimeters away from this guy.
yeah, they're not power lasers or something like this movie likes to. Let's shoot one here and there. It was don't cross the streams. This could
Oh,
really
you
be
know, there's
bad.
one fucking I forget exactly what it is, but they're all four of them are running through a corridor. I think it's underneath the concert. It's in that
Yeah,
scene, and there three of them are ahead, and Patty, the black one, is
yeah,
behind, and she is holding. They're all shooting at a ghost that's running away, and she is holding it up and shooting over their heads. And I'm like, holy fucking shit! Like literally, what? I mean, I don't know which one the beam would be going over, but that one
yeah.
has like actual nuclear radiation. Like these would be incredibly lethal
Uh,
in basically every single scene they're used in. Somebody
yeah,
would get
it's
incredibly hurt.
oh yeah, these proton packs are dangerous. But uh, back to
Um,
my point. My point was that Bill Murray gets killed, right?
yeah.
Now,
Yeah, and there are like no consequences for that.
yeah, the police show up and all that, but then it's quickly swept away with you've got to go see the mayor, and then the mayor's like, "Hey, we're gonna close you down," but we don't see any of the repercussions of that or anything happen. They just go back to
Actually,
work, and
yeah,
so
that was another thing. I remember, like, literally right after that scene, like they leave the mayor's office, and and then one of them's like, "Oh yeah, the mayor's letting us continue our work," but I
yeah,
mean, it was literally 5 seconds before, and it's not how I remembered the scene with the mayor ending. Um,
yeah. For me, it just kind of brushes everything away, and it's like
yeah,
you guys
it's
should
like,
be up for a murder charge. You killed a
yeah,
man. We're
but
not going to talk about that.
it's just like I guess the mayor. I mean, the mayor seems to know that the ghosts are real, so it's like, yeah, I
Yeah,
guess they
it's
know they didn't do it, but
yeah,
it seems like a public opinion thing, you know?
yeah,
The Ghostbusters murdered somebody who said they didn't believe in him. They checked you out the fucking window.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think this movie is a great example of how bigger isn't always better. They tried
yeah.
to more ghosts. Look, and now the logo itself is now 100 feet tall and destroying buildings. Like, it
Mm,
doesn't make it better. It really doesn't. And I
yeah.
think, yeah, the film's a terrific example of that philosophy of filmmaking. Don't do that. It's,
Um,
yeah.
there were a lot of like tiny things where I was just like that's just a weird like Patty joins because she knows New York, and I'm sitting there like they all live in New York. What is she talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
it's.
why does she know the city better than they do?
See, if the movie just consistently was not serious and just did one stupid thing
Mm,
after another, I think I would have enjoyed it more. But it's because it wants to still be a genuine attempt and have heart and character. It takes me out.
I mean, the first movie has like heart and character, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It it does balance the tone
Oh yeah, no,
from
that
what I
movie
remember.
gets
I
it
mean, it's been a very
tremendously
long
done
time
right.
since I've seen it.
But
Right now, I'm only thinking of the scene where Bill Murray says, "Yeah, it's true. This man has no dick."
uh the lines he has some good ones.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know where to start with that. But yeah, this movie, God. So yeah, whenever it's trying to be a joke after joke after joke, I'm laughing at the movie whenever it wants to do something that's just so ridiculous and stupid. Like Melissa
Mm.
McCarthy using the gun and just flying around an alleyway. Like, it's just that stupid in principle. I'm not laughing at what I'm supposed to. I'm laughing at what I am seeing. It's like how
Yeah.
people love the casting of the Mario movie. You know,
Oh
they're
yeah.
laughing at it rather than what the choice is itself. So whenever it's doing that, I didn't mind it. I don't hate it. But then it tries to have character and that kills it. I just want to see
Mm.
Melissa McCarthy like punching ghosts. Like, it's so stupid. I need that. Um,
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of what I meant with the tool. It's like, what the fuck are you gonna choose to punch one of the ghosts? Why would that ever be a better option?
yeah. Um. Oh God. I'm really losing my track, like
Yeah.
train of thought with this. There's just
I
so
mean, this one
much.
has very little structure, much like the movie.
Yep.
Um,
But we're all gonna just hang out and suffer together.
yeah.
But yeah, when it's being dramatic, I feel like it's just a waste of time.
Mm.
Um, if the whole movie carried the attitude that Chris Hemsworth, as much as he cared about his performance, and what he was doing, if the whole movie acted like him, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
No one cares. Everyone's really stupid. Everything's just
Oh,
flat out dumb.
oh yeah, I did want to mention the actual like villain. Every scene
Oh my
is just
god.
how like hyperbolic he is, talking to literally anybody. That was actually something I also found kind of amusing.
Yeah.
Like you're just talking to some random person. He's like, "Yes, the filth of humanity."
Yeah.
Like Glenn.
That's
It's
what I
like,
thought,
damn.
if it's just that, over the top and very on the nose, then I think it's
Yeah.
all right. But it's actually trying to be a movie and
Yeah, I'm like, are you
playing
supposed to
scenes
take
like
that
that.
guy seriously? Probably not, right?
No, but that's the thing. I think you're supposed to, because he is going to be the villain and he's going to be the stakes at the end.
Mm.
But I know you can't. When he's
Yeah,
giving
he's
his big villain speech of his whole plan before he enacts his plan and offs himself,
yeah.
like everything's so textbook. You'd think it's deliberate, but nope, no. So Dopender's in this movie.
Who?
The taxi driver from Deadpool. I just call him Dopender.
I don't know who that is.
You've seen Deadpool before, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, the Indian guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Dopender.
it's been a very long time. I couldn't remember. Um,
No, that's alright. But your Dopender's here. His bike gets destroyed. Poor guy.
yeah,
No repercussions for that. Um, as far as when this movie's trying to tell jokes, it's just not for me. It's like I'm not the target demographic for this movie, but I love the first and second Ghostbusters. So,
Can't even. I mean, I guess my mom and my sister didn't complain when they came out.
yeah, I just.
Actually, that is something I wanted to mention. I assumed I'd remember when I rewatched, but I can't actually remember at what point I was just at what point watching it in the cinema, I like I was like, yeah, okay, fuck this, and I walked out.
It was definitely when Melissa McCarthy's head snapped around backwards. Oh,
No, I
that.
was still watching at that point. It was like some point during the end, I was just like, okay, I'm done with this movie. Um,
Nah, it was probably when you seen the title card. Read
it should
Ghostbusters
have been
in the
if I
most
if I was
bland,
smart.
uninspired font ever. Oh,
If we can talk about bland and uninspired, I want to talk about like piano remix or like sad piano remixes of classic movie themes.
yeah.
Because this movie, I mean, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was like in the original trailer, had the sad piano Ghostbuster theme. Um,
I think so.
and
Yeah.
there are, I think that's actually in the movie at some point. It's like near the end. They have the piano. Oh no, it's like they have like a piano gets like thrown or something. It plays a few notes from the theme. But then I also remember they like remix the theme
Yeah.
um
I
at the end.
honestly, it was like I said, it became a lot of noise to me, and it kind of
Yeah.
melted out of my fucking ear.
Yeah, no,
From my
it's
brain, I can't remember what music cues there were. You know, I just remember the basics of what it is, and that it's a very poorly written movie that's just
mm.
not that funny. Like, okay, say you are the target demographic and you're in there. Did anyone laugh when one of the Ghostbusters says that good old Scarface reference, say hello to my little friend?
I'm pretty sure the target demographic of this film and Scarface don't have any crossover at all.
No, I'm just trying to think who laughed at that joke. And it was like in the
Mm.
climax. You know, it's not very funny when it's when it wants to be funny. You know,
Have we done a podcast on Scarface? I don't think so.
no, but
I
that
would,
would be fun. That would be cool.
yes,
I
that's a movie I've had on my mind lately, just unrelated to
3 hour
Ghostbusters.
podcast because the movie's like 3 hours itself.
Scarface is great. That's worth it.
That is worth it.
There was supposed to be a remake of that coming out. I heard a few years ago, but then nothing else about it.
Oh
Maybe it was
god, they're
cancelled.
rebooting Scarface. Can't do that.
I mean, maybe it was cancelled. I heard that like 2016 that they were supposed to be remaking Scarface.
Yeah.
Same year this movie came out, actually. Which actually, it was weird. I only found out when I searched on Netflix, but this movie actually has a official name because
Uh,
it's called like Ghostbusters Answer the Call.
yeah, this is one of those situations like the Harley Quinn movie or the Birds of Prey movie where it went through like 5 different titles.
Yeah, I literally had never heard it called that until I saw it on Netflix
Y-
yesterday.
Yeah, I heard Ghostbusters Answer the Call, Ghostbusters 2016, and just Ghostbusters. And I mean, the opening in the film, it just opens with, again, that bland text and just says Ghostbusters.
Mm.
So you could use any of them, I suppose. Answer the Call will also, help differentiate it from the rest, but I don't ever want to answer the call of this movie, so.
Yeah, no, it's that one's going to voicemail.
You know what? Something I am gonna get a little nitpicky. I don't like how they don't like the name Ghostbusters. Okay, what's up
Yeah,
with that? All right, if you're in a world where Ghostbusters have never existed before, all right, and you're gonna go and you're gonna stop ghosts, is that not the coolest name? I don't
yeah.
understand. Ghostbusters. That's
Uh,
outside of context. That's awesome.
oh yeah, it's actually that actually goes hard, you know.
I don't know why that was ever like I don't want to be called Ghostbusters. That's why. Yeah, this movie for me, it's hey, look, remember this person from the original Ghostbusters? And then 10 minutes of we're half-assing some jokes really fast. Hope you don't fall asleep. And then, hey, remember this person? I am afraid no
Mm.
ghost. And then another 10 minutes of the same thing. And it's on loop.
Yeah, it's some of the like because right now I was just thinking when like they ham fist who you're gonna call into it.
Yeah.
Um, it- it's like eh, man, and now I'm thinking of the first Ghostbusters movie when they have the commercial, which is the best thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah, the commercial's
Who are you
brilliant.
going to call? Oh man, the like receptionist lady and that other goofball from the first movie, I forget his name.
Yeah. I
That those guys are classic.
so I don't want to defend this movie at all, but if I have to point out something that I thought was relatively interesting, it would be the concept of the villain or the idea that the Ghostbusters, and I'm thinking of the original Ghostbusters, have someone that's an antagonist to them and then gets themselves killed to become a ghost.
Hmm.
It's not
Yeah,
a bad idea.
the new- I don't think I know Ghostbusters 1 and 2 didn't have like human antagonists, did
No,
they?
not at all. And I thought
Yeah.
if you had a third movie that had a human antagonist that you could
'Cause
really get
he,
to know
you know,
before he
his whole thing is
dies.
that he's like summoning the ghosts with the weird machines,
Yeah,
which it turns out is actually the main character's fault.
yeah. You could,
Um,
but you could drop all that and just in concept. It's a cool
yeah,
idea.
I could see them making that work
Well, when
with
someone's
better writing.
human, ahead of time, like anytime we've seen the ghosts in the other two movies, they were cool, but they were already there and they were evil. If you had an opportunity
Yeah,
to
they were
give your character,
very separate from humans.
yeah, and
There's a lot of them like what are they? Are the ghosts from the original supposed to be dead people,
I would think so.
or are they like weird like demons?
I thought there'd be ghosts of people crossed with all sorts of other things. Could be animals, whatever. And I
Man,
suppose interdimensional crap. I'm not sure. I don't know the lore of Ghostbusters that well. But the idea
yeah,
that you could get to know a character properly before they die, or they try to die, or they something halfway through, and then you've got an antagonist that's really powerful, but you know them ahead of time. It's not
yeah.
just Zool. I think it's a good idea. I do, but um, not in this
Um,
movie.
yeah. I mean, Zool. You just made fun of Zool, but he's a better
Zool.
antagonist than this guy.
Oh yeah, yeah for sure. But like, all I meant is that you just don't know much about Zool at all. It's
Mm,
like you've got the gatekeeper and the key and all this stuff, and
yeah.
then he or she's there. I'm not sure if Zool's a man or a woman, or I don't know if.
Actually, you never wasn't Zool the blowjob ghost?
No, but that would have been funny.
No, wait. I remember that being like related to Zool in some way.
No, that's I've seen
Or
that
was that
porn
just
before, but no, that's
was
not
that a complete non sequitur?
No, I don't
That
think
scene.
I don't think they have anything to do with each other.
What the fuck? What? Why is that scene in the movie?
No,
No, that
that scene's just in the movie for the sake of being in the movie. It's
no,
in like a
that
montage
I
and he just gets
remember.
blown. It's fucking great. It's not Zool. It's not. I assure you.
No, I know it's not like actually Zool, but I remember it having some like actually. It had a significant like there was a significance behind the blowjob ghost.
No, there wasn't. But I love that you try to make it seem like there was. Just keep
Like
going.
I no, I don't remember the movie well enough. I'm gonna have to rewatch it,
Yes.
and if I rewatch it and I find out that there's significance behind the blowjob ghost, I'm going to tell you about it.
Here we go.
Um,
That hour and a half podcast on the blowjob ghost. No, I remember he's laying in bed. Dan Aykroyd. He sees a
isn't
huge
all
ghost.
four of them?
Sorry.
Don't all? No, not all four of them, because the black one's not there at that point. But don't all three of them get blown by the blowjob
No.
ghost? I remember, I'm misremembering the blowjob ghost, clearly.
Yeah, bro, it was a full bukkake. Like, God, dude, it was that first
No, I just remember
Ghostbusters.
all three of them because
No,
they like sleep
it
on the same.
wasn't a circle jerk, I assure you.
All right, I need.
I know the scene, I know, I can tell it to you.
All right.
Dan Aykroyd's there in bed. All of a sudden he looks up and he sees a full woman like floating as a ghost. And then she disappears and he's like, what the fuck? And then you can't see anything anymore. You just see his belt being undone and he's freaking out. And then as his pants come down, you just get a shot of his head and his head going backwards with his eyes rolling backward, and that's it. And it's in a montage. I swear that's what it is.
I remember it doing that with the other two, like them having similar reactions. But I guess I'm
Reactions. How many blowjobs do you think are in this franchise?
more than there are good jokes in this movie.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. This movie just got burned and bad. Oh, God. So, it was produced by Amy Pascal.
I've never heard that name before.
She's pretty much the reason why Spider-Man just kind of gets screwed she runs all the Sony Spider-Man movies. Like, for promotional stuff I think it was when Venom came out. The first one. Or was it for... it must have been for Venom. Kevin Feige, the man, is sitting there with Amy Pascal and they're both being interviewed because Kevin Feige has to partner with her and whatever. And the interviewer's like, so, like, is Venom in the MCU? And Amy Pascal's like, yeah, no, he's in the MCU. And Kevin Feige's like, no, he's in your Sony universe. Like, she doesn't understand what that is. And, yeah, she's just kind of got no idea what she's doing, ever. So as soon as I seen produced by Amy Pascal...
He was?
Sorry, dude?
Wasn't he actually in the MCU?
I
No
mean,
Way Home?
now, I suppose, but at the time it was like, no, you're
She knew.
delusional.
She knew.
She knew. You know what? Let's not ever underestimate Amy Pascal. She knows the future, man.
Also, it was weird that he was in No Way Home at all because he learns about Spider-Man's identity in No Way Home.
It's weird. Why was Venom even in that movie?
Man, that's such a... Because it's like you said, that like after No Way Home, I'm actually like finally on board with this Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I don't really think they're going to do that much more with him.
No, apparently they're going to work on a new trilogy and they're going to have a new director and go a whole different way with it. But, you know, they've had his high school years. Let's have him be a bit more mature now. And as much as I like that idea, I'm still not sold on it. Like Tom Holland, he's just not my favorite. He's not Spider-Man to me. And we've seen it in that Spider-Man Lotus like little clip, the VFX shot where he's swinging and that 90s theme kicks in and that slow-mo. I felt so much more there than 3 movies of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. When Aunt May died, I was like, okay, yeah. Spoiler, whatever.
I don't think anyone cared.
I think everyone has seen this movie at this point.
Yeah, I think anybody who cared would have seen it by now.
You know, I'm like, yeah, Tom Holland's acting his ass off, but I haven't really felt like I've been given a reason to care about this Aunt May.
I feel like the main problem is that Spider-Man is like no MCU character I've ever really cared about because they're all just like side characters in other like none of them are the main character of the MCU, and like I feel like all of them kind of suffer from that. They don't feel like I don't know.
In terms of characters,
none of them really feel like protagonists. None of them really feel like protagonists.
I mean, if you're talking about the modern ones, for sure, they don't feel like protagonists. I care about Edward Norton's Hulk, and
I mean, true, but that was before it was really like.
Yeah, but yeah, I just in terms of
That was
like,
back when the MCU movies were like good because they had to be good. They didn't. They
y-
couldn't just sell
yeah, they
from
had to
being in the
try,
MCU.
and but I don't know. That's something about that Bruce Banner's struggle. Just watching Edward Norton, the Hulk aside, I was interested in seeing how this guy is going to tackle this and all these problems in his life. He was definitely never going to have a resolution with Hulk. You know, it was always going to be this battle. And I like Captain America too. For me, Winter Soldier really switched my opinion up on him. And,
Oh yeah.
you know, the whole I'm with you to the end of the line thing right at the end. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm with Cap. Let's go. Iron Man was always a little bit too egocentric for me. You know, I don't know. Not at the time I wasn't big on
I
him.
remember you like. Maybe your opinion on it's now changed, but I remember you used to like Iron Man 3 quite a bit.
I did. It's interesting what Shane Black did. I'm sure we can cover those Marvel movies one day, but that's a big
I don't
endeavor.
want to.
We can cover them a trilogy
I've
at a
watched
time.
maybe half of the movies in the MCU at
It's
a stretch. At least half of the like pre-Phase 4 stuff.
yeah.
I haven't watched anything Phase 4 except No Way Home.
Yeah, I'm currently in She-Hulk at the moment. It's a rough ride. You know, if you should watch any Marvel Phase 4 movie, I would recommend Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. That's
I've literally never heard of that.
that's pretty damn good.
What's
Um
that about?
Simu Liu Simu Liu, sorry if I butchered your name, but he prior to this movie was only ever in stock photos. So you could see all these beautiful memed stock photos of him that he has no rights to because you have to sell kind of the rights of the image when you're taking the images with whoever takes the photos. Doesn't matter. But he was only ever famous for that, and then all of a sudden he's got this huge Marvel franchise, and he's just such a down to earth guy. Unlike Iron Man 3, we get to see the real Mandarin in that movie, and
Wait,
it's
the Mandarin's in it?
yeah, the Mandarin's in it. Spoiler, sorry, it's not a big spoiler. He's like in the whole movie. Um,
Okay, yeah, also, not to interrupt you, but are we done talking about Ghostbusters 2016?
yeah, man, my notes are just kind of
Okay.
everywhere,
Well,
and
yeah,
I don't
alright.
think there's much trivia you really want to learn about it. But I thought we'll just
Yeah.
carry the conversation naturally, see where it goes. I do have some movie news a bit later if we run out of
Alright.
things to talk about. But yeah,
Yeah,
Shang
okay.
Chi is he is the Mandarin's son,
Oh,
and
yeah.
outside
What
of the
wasn't the
whole
Mandarin like? Is it the in Iron Man 3? Was it? Or like the is the one in this movie the real Mandarin or the fake one?
in Shang
I,
Chi,
yeah, because Iron Man 3 had the fake out one who was like an actor.
yeah. So both of those Mandarins are the fake one, and the real one is in Shang Chi, who has been around for X amount of time and says, "Yeah, no, I've had all these knockoffs and people trying to take my name because of all the things I've built," and it's genuinely pretty good. It's still
When did
a
that come
loud,
out?
it's still a loud MCU movie with a fair amount of CG towards the end, but the charisma that this guy carries as Shang Chi is fantastic. I really did enjoy my time. There's a awesome sequence with the bus at the start, so I highly recommend it. I'll review it soon when I catch up.
Yeah, I asked, but you didn't. When did this come out? I've never heard of it.
Shang Chi.
Was that like last year or something? Or year
Yeah, it
before?
must have been last year.
Oh.
I have it here on I have it here on 4K, but I'm not sure its release date. I'll just check that real quick. Hang on.
I guess this one kind of low key. Nobody really talks about it at all.
Oh, people really liked it when it came out. They still do. It made a lot of money.
I mean,
Yeah,
basically, is
2021.
there anything in the MCU that hasn't made a lot of money?
Um, I mean, I don't think She-Hulk's faring too well. Or Miss
Well,
Marvel
aren't all
that
those
struggled.
shows on Disney Plus though?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
in terms of a movie, Eternals that struggled. Uh, Black Widow critically got picked apart a lot. But see, this Shang-Chi one, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got 91%, and 88% of people liked the film. It was,
It's kind of yeah. You were just saying like Eternals and Black Widow and so, and these are all films I've heard the name of.
yeah.
Um,
Ah, Shang-Chi's fantastic.
once like 5 years ago. Um,
Uh, Here, I'll just quickly send you the picture of what the hell it looks like so you know what I'm talking about.
maybe if I see a picture of something, I'll be like, yeah, I've seen. Alright, I've seen a meme
Yeah,
or
you
whatever.
must have seen posters and like subconsciously when it was coming out. Maybe not that poster exactly, but
Like, Jimmy or my cat likes to walk up in front of my desk and just stand right in front of my monitor so I can't see shit.
yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this looks completely unfamiliar to me.
It
I don't know any of this.
the costumes are very over designed, unfortunately, like a lot of Marvel's latest stuff. And yeah, it does become a bit of a Marvel CG movie towards the very end, but the amount of charisma that this guy carries as the lead, he's the
Which
only
one's the lead? The one like
in the red.
at the front.
He's the only MCU character that they've introduced in all of Phase 4 that I actually like. I actually care to see where this guy goes. And I think this is the perfect example of how you do a film with a diverse cast and do it right. You just make the movie. You don't make a big point about how, oh, they're not Caucasian, they just make the movie, and it's very good. It's very pretty too. Yeah, and as I said, there's this bus sequence. It's like Ghost of Tsushima hits a Marvel movie in terms of some of the beautiful scenery.
Aren't these people all Chinese?
I think so. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I just thought it was funny that you compared it to Ghost of Tsushima, which is Japanese.
I just mean in terms of like the forests that have all like the raining yellow leaves and red leaves.
Oh yeah.
It's got a couple of scenes
Aren't they?
that are
Didn't
very
you
creative.
tell me a couple years ago they'd announced a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, or not?
I think there is a sequel being made, but it's not going to be Ghost of Tsushima 2. They very much closed that off, and the way that game
Oh yeah.
ends, which I
Speaking
won't
of
spoil.
sequels, have you heard about the GTA 6 leaks that came out a few
Yeah,
days ago?
GTA 6 leaks. Have you
I
seen
literally,
them?
yeah, I've seen a fair bit of them. But yeah, I was literally not interested in GTA 6 at all. But when I saw the leaks, I was like, okay, actually, this could be kind of right.
I
Because
I think technically they're gonna make something that's more impressive than 5 again, but I think it's gonna fall with its story. I think it's gonna be too on the nose because they've become such a parody of themselves as a
that's
company.
true.
You
I
know,
mean, Red Dead 2 single player, um, is a very like, that game's
I
quite
know,
good.
and then the last
So,
of the great writers left right after.
oh yeah, all the writers did,
Yeah,
but did they leave before like they would have written GTA 6?
I would think so. I would have thought so. I mean, you had a lot of people that left after GTA 5 became the cash cow that it was. And then you had a
That's
couple of good
true.
people left to do Red Dead 2, and then they just dipped straight after. And all the company has produced is, their GTA Definitive Trilogy, which we see how much they just don't care.
Well, I
um,
mean that Rockstar didn't even do that,
yeah,
which is kind of an indictment, but it's like, yeah,
yeah,
that
and I
I
feel
they just
like they care
can't
enough because they
do that.
want money that they're gonna make the next game, but its story could just be complete ass. That's what I think we're gonna have.
I mean,
Maybe
yeah,
not
that
complete rubbish, but it'll kind of not. It won't work as well. There's too much hype and expectation for this to somehow top Trevor and Michael and Franklin. You know,
oh yeah.
with this
The
couple
GTA
that
5,
are like
like
Bonnie and Clyde.
GTA Online completely overshadows the story mode in
Yeah,
like my
I really
discussions
think
about
that's where
GTA
their
5.
priority is going to lie. They want the next big because
I
it
mean, their
could make.
priority for Red Dead 2 was clearly the single player. They didn't give much thought to online.
I think they wanted to, but they just didn't know how to do it. And then they just seen how much money GTA Online was making still, and they said, let's just keep doing that. We know how to do that,
Yeah,
and it's making bank. And
yeah.
yeah, oh god, and now we're
That's a
gonna.
bit of a disappointment because I really would have enjoyed having like a good cowboy online game.
True. I'm not sure how they could have done it though. No, I don't envy that position at all.
Yeah,
What else do you add? I mean, I suppose you can own properties and, you know, rob other things, but it's all kind of things you could already do.
yeah,
You know, the story was really the only way of keeping what mechanics it had really fresh in the
mm,
campaign.
yeah.
But yeah, unfortunate, but I do think GTA 6's online is going to be really well done and refined. Like, it'll come out, people will have their problems with the story and go, yeah, look, it ultimately wasn't as good, but they'll have their new, this is GTA 6, we're just gonna hone the online stuff and have it everywhere. And they'll try to put the GTA Plus subscriptions in place earlier and shark cards and like
Oh
really.
yeah, I forgot about the monthly GTA thing.
Yeah, nah, it's bad. I think it's, you know, we had online, it was really fun. Then it became an experiment to see how much money they could make, and now they're like, okay, now we know how to do this right. We know how to really like ream people of money because it's still pumping. It's insane.
Oh yeah, no, GTA 5. Because when GTA 5 came out, that was like the. I think it might still be the biggest like game launch
Oh
ever.
yeah, it's still going very hard.
I don't know if it. I the only thing I could imagine it being topped by is like Red Dead 2, but I don't think it did because that was also very big when it launched.
Yeah, it was, but
Um,
it's not like GTA 5. I don't think anything's really sold the way that game has. It's
yeah,
nuts.
I don't reckon like I don't reckon GTA 6 is going to like beat the records that GTA 5 set from like sales in the first 24 hours or whatever. So like,
I think it will.
oh, you do?
I do.
I guess to be fair, by the
I
time GTA 6 comes out, people born after GTA 5 will be old enough to play it. Um,
the hype and anticipation, a decade of waiting for the next GTA game, like provided the story isn't leaked and is trash ahead of time, people will buy this thing big time. I can see it now. It'll only be after they've got it. They've gone, oh, hang on. Yeah, look, it's just not as good, or we've made a mistake. It's like how The Last of Us 2, before we knew about the leaks and the things that happened in that game, we were all going to buy that game. We were ready to play that game. It looked insanely good. You know, we had no reason to be doubtful. So I think its sales are really going to depend on what it can get away with. You know,
sorry
what it
about the
can and can't
Discord
show.
messages that are probably going to be coming from my cat sitting on my keyboard.
Oh yeah, I see. You've sent a lot of slashes to me. Thank you.
Yeah,
I think you're trying to tell me you want to watch a slasher movie, or you want
that'd
to
be
slash up
cool.
Ghostbusters. I get that too.
We could watch like the original like Friday the 13th or Halloween or some shit. Because
Hell yeah,
Halloween's
we're
coming up
moving
in a few
into
weeks.
October, so it's Spooktober time. I'd be happy to do some stuff like that. We'll cover some more horror
That'd be
movies.
cool as.
I mean, well, we're thinking of talking about Evil Dead, so that's a great start. But there's heaps we could do. Um, but because we're you know only kind of touching on things, Ghostbusters is just not that interesting to talk about. You've got our thoughts. I just think it's a missed opportunity. I don't hate it. It doesn't. It's not that mean to me. It's not a hate crime. I just don't care. I thought we'll just dive into some movie news and other things that are happening at the moment,
Yeah.
and we'll get your thoughts on those, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll have a shorter one this time round. So
Alright. Well, I mean, it's already been like 45 minutes. I don't remember exactly when we started, but
yeah, no, we've filled out time for sure. You know, everyone at home's still having fun, but if you want to hang around a little longer, you can, because Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. It's getting its first ever 4K Blu-ray, and I'm excited.
Oh yeah, didn't
I'm.
we? Weren't we talking about Reservoir Dogs only a couple of weeks ago?
I
Not
think
on a
so.
podcast.
I think we
But I
were.
remember talking about it with you briefly. We need to cover a Quentin Tarantino movie
We
at
do.
some
Well, this
point.
is like long overdue. Um, I
We're
feel like
what, like 27 podcasts in?
27 and not a single Tarantino. That's bad, eh? We
Yeah.
will before 100. We will. All right. Um, so yeah, it's getting its first ever 4K Blu-ray now. The only thing I'm worried about is whether Tarantino is actually going to be having is gonna have anything to do with this transfer, because we're having Glorious Bastards on 4K and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but Tarantino, he's not a fan of the medium. I'm not sure why. It's something you'd have to check, but he doesn't like 4K movies or media being in 4K. He just doesn't. He's old school with it. And so he doesn't have any oversight when they transfer his movies, and they've only done a couple. And when they have been some of the absolute worst. You know, they
How so?
switch up the color grading, and and Glorious Bastards is the example of what have you done. Since Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was fairly recent, it was fine, but it wasn't. It's not good. So I am cautiously optimistic about Reservoir Dogs coming to 4K. I want it, but I want to know if it's good or not.
I I mean, I feel like at to some level, I feel like the kind of graininess, I guess you'd call it, of
Yeah,
Reservoir Dogs is
film
kind
grain.
of to its benefit. How it's like I feel like watching it in 4K might, because it's like, I don't know, it feels like it fits the vibe a bit more.
Well, it should look spectacular. I mean, any movie
Sure,
that's
I mean, they
shot.
are standing in a warehouse for about an hour and a half, so how?
Yeah, dude, but you're gonna get the sweat and the blood. It's gonna be really gritty, the open pores,
Sure. Yeah.
and any movie that's shot on film looks better than something
Was
that's
it
shot
shot
on.
on film?
Yeah, it would have been. I think Tarantino shoots all of his movies on film. He really likes actual reels and actual images being taken. It's why the
So
first
what went
Jaws
wrong with
movie on
Inglorious Bastards then?
Inglourious Bastards, yeah, it would have been shot on film, but it's just
Was
the
it?
way that the transfer was done. Tarantino had no oversight. He wasn't there. He wasn't in the building. They just started messing with his movie, and unless Tarantino's there going, "Yep, that's how it should look," and I think that's right, I'm not super interested.
How, like, why would they change the colors and I don't get it, obviously. I thought that's just like
Yeah,
upscaling the
it's yeah, it gets a little bit nitty gritty with the technical side of things when you talk about these, but
Yeah.
you know,
I feel like I mean, I don't know how much you know about it, but I'm clearly out of my depth here.
yeah, well, I got mad on the 4K TV and 4K movies, and you got to pick the right ones. Um, just once I'd seen footage in 4K, I was sold. I was like, I need everything to look this good, like I could reach inside of my TV screen. Uh, but yes, films are generally shot on two mediums. You've got film, and then you've got digital. And film is everything that old movies are shot on, and then digital's how we have cameras today, in our phones and everything. They're not actual reels at all. When something's shot digitally, it takes a photo of a certain amount of pixels, and that's just kind of it. And you can upscale it, obviously. And if you've got the right like, you can upscale a digital shot film, and it's only going to look so good because you're creating things that just kind of aren't there. And then
Yeah.
you've got movies that are shot with like a 4K or 8K DI, and those are as clean as they can be because that digital photo is to this scale. They look probably the best, the cleanest. But anything that's shot on film, they're actual photos, and for whatever reason, like upscaling those and getting those in 4K looks way better because they're actual photos rather than a digital one that you can only upscale so far. I'm a bit fuzzy on the details, but ones that are shot on film, like Jaws, the first Jaws looks absolutely incredible in 4K. Anyway, I'm getting getting too far into it, but I hope Reservoir Dogs it's good. We'll see. I'll find out, but that's something else that's going on. We currently have a new Star Wars show at the moment called Andor. Don't know why or
I mean,
who
that's
this is
just
made
another one
for.
to add to the pile at this point.
Andor was a side character in Star Wars Rogue One, and I liked the third act of Rogue One and went, okay, cool, whatever. But I don't know why
Who
they've
is
decided.
Andor? I've never seen Rogue One. Like, what kind of character is he?
I don't know, man. It's not
Haven't you
much.
seen Rogue One?
I did see Rogue One. I saw it
Is he like
once. And
is
he's
he like a Jedi or something? I don't know.
no, he's a bit of a Han Solo type.
Wait,
And
because we need another one of those.
yeah, it's like that, but a TV show. And I don't know why they've gone ahead with this because I was someone that kind of liked Rogue One, but I have no interest in seeing this. It is the same situation as the Han Solo film. I don't care to watch any of this. Why do I care at all?
Uh,
And yeah,
is Rogue One the only good Star Wars thing to come out in the past like 10 years?
uh, no, I would say Force Awakens is
Oh
definitely
yeah.
on par or probably better than Rogue One. Like the first act.
I'm not really a fan of Force Awakens just because I feel like it the few things it sets up that are actually kind of cool, it completely fails to pay up follow up on,
Yeah,
and it and then it just becomes a worse version of A New Hope.
I totally understand that, especially in retrospect. I just remember my
Um,
feeling at the time, and I understood what they were doing. They wanted to say, "Hey, look, in order for us to try and appease to every Star Wars fan we possibly can to say, hey, this is going to be alright and what you want, what better thing could we have done than give you something that's so close to what that first movie is like? Just to hold your hand and walk you into it and say, hey, look, it's not CGI Jar Jar Binks, there's some practical effects and it's pretty
I
fun and loud,
mm,
And obviously we didn't get payoff for a lot of things that happened, which worsened this, but I understand it at least. And then
yeah.
it was the second one. It was like, okay, the Force Awakens is so close to what A New Hope is. We need something different. This has to be an Empire Strikes Back. It has to be something different. So instead of giving us something like different, they went, yeah, let's completely subvert expectations, as Ryan Johnson says. And we'll just give you the opposite. They wanted to do the absolute opposite of what Force Awakens was. You don't like Force
I
Awakens? Here's the opposite. Oh, you
the
don't like
last
Last
the Last
Jedi?
Jedi was it's like because I think I might have mentioned this to you before, but like that because there was that huge Lego game that came out not long ago, the Skywalker Saga or whatever it's called.
Yep.
Every time I hear about it, I'm just like, I've obviously never checked. I don't have it or anything. All the people I know who have played it haven't played the Last Jedi levels, and I'm just, what the fuck do you put in them?
I I don't know because it's like a
You have like,
chase in space that doesn't
and
really go
nothing
anywhere.
fucking happens for 90% of the film. You have
You know
like
what? I
a
might have
throne
to
re.
check it. I
You have
have
like
the game. I have to actually find out.
you've got like probably like a battle at like the throne room.
Yeah.
You've got like I don't know. You could do like a goofy little thing at the casino. Have like a space battle because there's one of those.
Yeah, you'd have to do a space battle at the start, the casino, the throne room, the very end on the sand planet, and then you'd have to fit something else in. I think they're. I played
They all have
episodes 1 to
6 levels,
6.
right?
I think they've got 5.
Oh, okay.
I played episodes 1 to 6. I have the game,
Mm.
obviously, and
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
played that much, and then went, "Yep, I've had my fun. That was all right."
Yeah,
And
no,
then,
everyone I've asked stopped like at the same point you did. Nobody played the sequel trilogy.
no, I just could not care to put any of my time into that.
And
So,
I'm yeah.
anyway, you want to know what else is going on in the world of movie news?
Sure, why not?
Let's dive into Batman for a second.
The Batman?
The Batman and its sequel. Now,
Oh, I asked about this like a couple weeks ago, and you said there was nothing on it.
no, and this isn't still anything that's really confirmed. This is just. I mean, I gotta read this headline that I read. I wrote it down.
Okay.
Nicolas Cage explains why he wants to play Batman villain Egghead. So, Egghead is a villain that's only in like the 60s Batman show, and he always speaks like excellent or I'm ecstatic. And Nicolas Cage thinks there's, real potential for a terrifying version of that character, and he thinks about it a lot. He hasn't
I
gone to Warner Brothers about it, and I think he's only half serious because he uses it at like red carpets apparently. Whenever someone's like, "Hey, you want to play a superhero role?" just to kind of shoo people away, and
oh yeah.
it's still really
Actually,
funny.
didn't you? I forget. I don't know if it was a joke or something, but didn't you message me a couple weeks ago about a cod piece?
Yes, Codpiece. I mean, you remember that the Harley Quinn show? I've touched on it briefly before.
Yeah.
Its third season has just finished. I've seen the whole season. It's fantastic. I'm going to review it soon. Hopefully, no promises, but Codpiece is in it. I couldn't believe it. It's fantastic. Best surprise. Um, God, it's
Okay,
such a
so it wasn't like a full movie that they were gonna do or something that had him in it, like the new Suicide Squad or whatever.
no. It was where did I see it? So it was The Boys. The Boys tweeted out that Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who played Negan in The Walking Dead, the guy with the baseball bat that just kind of kills off your favorite characters, he joined the cast of The Boys, and he was like, "Yes, I'm ready for spandex. I'm ready. Suit me up. I'm ready for The Boys." And they were like, "Oh well, we don't know about spandex." And then he like added to the thread on Twitter saying, "I was more thinking like codpiece." That's where it kind of all came from, and
Hmm.
just the
Yeah,
fact that
I was
Jeffrey
thinking
Dean
just
Morgan
a
knows
second
who
ago
that
if you were
is,
ever gonna review the boys on your channel, because
I
I
would love to.
need to watch it. I actually have no excuse now because Better Call Saul's ended, and that was my excuse.
Oh
Um,
mate, I still can't. I thought you had seen it all. I've completely forgotten. Eh?
yeah, no, I need to. I still need to fucking get around to it.
Please watch The Boys. But yeah, I just couldn't believe Jeffrey Dean Morgan knew who Codpiece was. I really thought that was like our inside joke for the longest time. But he made it very mainstream, and now he's in the Harley Quinn show, and it's like, God, we could actually get a Codpiece movie, which 5 years ago seemed like insanity.
Yeah, that was something we had a grand old laugh about.
Yeah,
Um, back when we were doing GTA Online.
yes, it was. So, in other news, the new Little Mermaid movie, Disney's making more live action remakes. The actress playing Ariel isn't white, so Twitter is in hysterics.
Hmm.
Not too much to add to that. It's just
Yeah, I've
another
heard
day in the
about it.
life of Twitter.
I did see a funny picture where they were like, "Yeah, it doesn't even look like she's fucking underwater."
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and
I'm
then
not
they like
sure.
edited in like they like edited it to make it like real, put like a really dark blue like filter over it, and they
Yeah,
made all the audio like
yeah. It's.
um
I'm gonna hold my thoughts
muffled.
until I see the movie.
I
If
mean,
I
has
see
there
the
been a
movie.
good live action remake?
No, there's a lot of just avoided. You know, people always ask me what kind of movies do I not like? What do I not enjoy? What, as a critic, would I just bash? And for me, it's probably like the Lion King remake or reboot, the live action version, because in animation, you can exaggerate the cliffs that, you know, Simba's
Yeah,
trying to approach
it's
and
just
the stampede or emotions. You make it live action, you lose all the colors, so it's just this bland desert landscape. These
really all they're
lions
doing
can't
is just
emote at all.
flexing the technology at the detriment of the film.
Pretty much, the lions can't emote at all because their jaws can literally move up and down. They can only do so much.
It's kind of funny. I actually know a little, a fair bit about like the first quarter of the Lion King remake because
Uh,
there's a reviewer called YMS who did like a 3 hour review
I do
and it's
know about
part one.
Your Movie Sucks. I do know about him.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours long and it's part one and it only covers like up to the scene where Mufasa dies.
Yeah,
Spoiler
I. Well, what my
for
problem
anyone who
is.
hasn't seen The Lion King, but it's like yeah, that movie. Every example he shows it is just like
Yeah, I was about to
who
say.
who can compare it to the first one and see it as an improvement in
Yeah,
like every single aspect, basically.
one of my biggest problems is that it is a shot for shot, line for line recreation with only like one new scene with this dung beetle, and they try to show like a cycle of life kind of thing, but everything else is the same. So, as far as Hollywood being creative, if you go to see this movie, you're telling Hollywood you don't need to come up with fresh ideas. Just regurgitate the same stuff back to us, and you can make $1 billion. It's really damaging for the film industry, in my eyes at least. And, you know,
Yeah.
after it came out and it made all of its money, now no one gives a shit. If you're going to watch Lion King, you still watch the original. But I hate what it's doing. Disney live action remakes. It's not. I just no. That's the movies I hate. I don't want to talk about them anymore. um, to wrap
And
up.
that you know what that kind of brings us full circle to remakes that don't really need
Yeah.
to exist.
Yeah. Um,
um
I do have some other news articles. We can go a bit longer if you want, or have we really gone full circle with this?
I mean I guess if you have more to talk about then we're
I
still going.
I
But
do
I
have a
thought
little
that was
bit.
yeah, I just thought that would have been a funny way to end it off. But
Nah, I got like four more articles of things.
no worries.
About four. So,
Um
the movie Constantine. Have you heard of that before with Keanu Reeves?
heard the name?
Well, it came out a
Know
long
any?
time ago, and it really grew a cult following, and all of a sudden, it's getting a sequel now with the same director returning. We're getting Constantine 2, like 2 decades later, and apparently Keanu Reeves is a big pushing factor in how we're even getting this. If you don't know anything about the first Constantine, I'll won't say anything more than that. But it's getting a sequel and it's making a lot of buzz this week. Um, Mission Impossible 8. Its production stopped after it had a bunch of sheep invade the set.
What?
Yeah,
What was that like related to the movie? Like Tom Cruise has a scene where he like hangs
I
out with
don't
a
know.
bunch of sheep? Or did they just like break onto set?
I think they just broke onto set. Just a bunch of sheep just either broke through a fence
That
and just
reminds
started invading, and they had to just stop the production. There's just
that
too many
reminds
sheep.
me of a video I saw a couple of days ago. It's completely unrelated to anything in the film industry, but it was just a video of a woman like on a jog, and it was like somebody else, the person filming had come up to her because there was like 70 sheep just following her. And when she stopped to talk to the person filming, all the sheep stopped. And then when she kept going, they all kept going. And she had no clue why they were following her. They
um,
just like were just like, yeah, all right, cool. That's the pack leader.
hell yeah.
That woman. I'm very curious as to how that situation was resolved.
I don't know, but it's funny.
Like, what do you even do if like 70 sheep are just following you around?
Yeah. Um. God. All right. So
Yeah,
Gran Turismo as a franchise, you're familiar with it?
only because of you.
Awesome. I'm not the biggest fan. I like some of the older ones. I don't like the direction it's in now, but apparently it's getting a movie, and I had no idea. And
So it's
Orlando
just
Bloom
a
of
game
Parts.
about driving cars.
I don't understand. The Need for Speed one makes sense, and I don't mind that movie, but Orlando Bloom from Parts of the Caribbean has joined the cast alongside David Harbour from Stranger Things, the dad police officer,
Yeah,
sheriff.
yeah.
Yep,
I know
he's
the
also
actor.
in it. Yeah, apparently it's getting a movie, and I didn't even know. How does this stuff happen without me knowing? If I'm actively a fan of these franchises. I don't know.
But yeah, isn't it a game about just like driving cars?
Yeah,
how are they making a
there's
movie
never
about it?
been any story at all. It's just a simulator game. So I don't. How do you make a
Like I
movie about
know
it?
you mentioned the Need for Speed game. There was that one that had the live action cutscenes, and the only reason I
Yeah,
remember it is you told me about the ending where
yeah,
it teases seeing the main character's face, and he just pulls a mask down last second.
yeah, yeah. Right before the photo's taken. Nah, it's alright. But
Um,
yeah, I'm not sure. There is a Need for Speed movie with Aaron Paul. Aaron Paul's our
when did
guy.
that come out?
2014. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
It was pretty good as far as a Need for Speed movie goes. It's about as good as it could be. Great
what's it like? Is
cars.
it just like Fast and Furious? Like I don't really get.
Um,
It's like because
it's
it's
a
like about like street racing, right?
it's a bit of a road trip crossed with John Wick.
What?
Yeah. A
So
bit of a
on like a
revenge
revenge
story.
quest across the country or something.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool.
it's not bad. Aaron Paul's great, and it is Need for Speed. It's only going to be so good, but as far as that movie goes, as good as it could have been, it it is as good as it could have been. I don't mind it. I do go back and watch it from time to time. Different for sure. Um, and it's got some of my favorite cars. It's very much akin to Need for Speed games from like 2010, like Hot Pursuit, which you might not know, but if anyone's listening, they might. Which were more like, let's get some hypercars, like less underground Fast and Furious stuff and more. Let's get a Lamborghini and a Ferrari and a Koenigsegg or something and just race them as fast as we can with cops chasing us.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, I was gonna say on the subject of talking about David Harbour, for this whole Gran Turismo movie, we finally got a tease for the MCU's Thunderbolts movie. Now, this is a movie I was somewhat interested in seeing. Think of like the Avengers if they consisted of just bad guys. It's kind of a fun premise.
Isn't that
However,
like
we
the
saw the
Suicide
lineup.
Squad?
Kinda, but they're not gonna all die from a chip in their head all the time. And I was kind of excited. In the comic books it was pretty fun, but they revealed the cast lineup and it's just kind of killed any hype I could possibly have.
Who's in it?
So we have uh let's see, we got Ghost from Ant-Man 2. David Harbour's there from the Black Widow movie. Yelena, who is Black Widow's sister. The Winter Soldier. The new evil Captain America from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. Taskmaster. It's just a bunch of like D-list villains in a group. Where the comic book version might have had like Abomination and like some real heavy
Taskmaster's
players.
pretty cool.
Who's that?
Taskmaster's pretty cool.
Oh, not in the Black Widow movie. She's not.
Shit. Oh, right.
That stopped you real quick. Yeah, nah. It killed my hype for it immediately.
I didn't even remember that Taskmaster had already been in the MCU.
Yeah, no, it sucks, but it's happened. Another throwaway character. In terms of Sony's superhero movies, their Spider-Man universe, their Kraven the Hunter and Madam Web movies have been delayed because do they even know what they're doing anymore?
Madam Web?
Yeah. All right. So they've got a Kraven the Hunter movie and Aaron Taylor Johnson, so Quicksilver from Age of Ultron, or Kick-Ass from Kick-Ass. He's playing Kraven, and they're not making him wear anything cool. He's an actor that could pull it off, but he's just a guy in like a long sleeve wool shirt and jeans running around barefoot. That's what we've seen in set photos, so it's just kind of whatever. Could be not good. Yeah, no, I'm not even going to try and pretend like this is going to be something magical. It's not going to have Spider-Man in it. What's the point? But anyway, we're getting a Madam Web movie. Now, Madam Web is the old lady from the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. Remember how Spider-Man would just swing around, there'd be some pink smoke all of a sudden, and he's talking to some old lady sitting in a chair, and she would like kind of tell his fortune and his future and what's going to happen. Well, and she was voiced by Stan Lee's wife, which was really cool in that show. But the lady who plays, can't remember the character's name. It's the woman from 50 Shades of Grey, Anastasia. That's the character's name. The woman from 50 Shades of Grey is playing Madam Web. So a very young Madam Web. Now I have no idea what the hell kind of a movie it's gonna be. She's a woman that sits in a chair and never does stand, as far as I know. I don't understand.
You're like some kind of like sage or something? Like
Yeah.
I didn't remember the Spider-Man like cartoon that well. You watched it a lot more than I did.
Yeah, that Venom Saga, man, it was good. Can't buy it on DVD in this country. Not the whole show, at least.
That's a shame. I know you'll really much enjoy owning stuff on DVD.
Oh yeah, I can get it, but I have to get it from the UK, and it costs a lot of money. But yes, we're getting a Madam Web movie, and they've both been delayed. I don't know if you heard about the cancelled Batgirl movie at all.
There was like a Batgirl show.
Yeah, no, we don't talk about that. we don't talk about that here on the Blake Bomber channel. Yeah, the suit could, it's
this
almost perfect because it doesn't fit a woman. Anyway, stupid Batgirl show. I was quoting the Batgirl CW show. Like the trailer's stinger was, that bat suit, it's almost perfect. It just needs to fit a woman. Anyway, this movie was very much something I was very excited about seeing. I did want to see it. Brendan Fraser, the guy from The Mummy, is the villain as playing Firefly. He's basically just an arsonist who wears like a gas mask. Very excited to see him come back. J.K. Simmons would reprise the role of Commissioner Gordon, and a couple of things like that.
Right. When did J.K. Simmons play Commissioner Gordon?
In the DCEU, if that even still exists. All the Man of Steel, Justice League, Batman v Superman, all those movies.
Oh.
Yeah.
When is Commissioner Gordon in? Well, I mean, the only one I've seen is Man of Steel, and he.
Yeah, that's why you haven't seen him. So, basically, they've been making this Batgirl movie. They completely came up with the concept. They wrote everything. They cast everyone. They then shot the entire movie. Basically, edited the entire movie. Got it completely done, ready for its theatrical release, and then cancelled it. And people were upset because the movie's done. It's just...
I think you mentioned that, or I heard it somewhere that they cancelled like a finished.
Yeah, they cancelled it, and nothing like this has ever really happened before. And the reason why WB cancelled it is because they said it doesn't align with where we want to take our franchises and our movies, where we want to go.
They didn't figure that out earlier?
No, they just... I don't know if it's because we've now had the Batman, and they're like, you know what, we really want to steer in this direction instead of trying to continue this other universe. We don't want to build a franchise with this character now and start something else. And they canned it, and they've ultimately considered it just a loss. They're not going to port it to some streaming service or nothing. They're going, yeah, look, it cost us, I don't know, might have cost them $100 million to make. I have no idea what the budget is, but they're going...
That's like Warner Brothers or something?
Yeah, Warner Brothers.
So they just made a full movie, all expenses, everything's paid for, and then they just decide, nah, don't feel like profiting off of this one.
Yeah, that's it. That's what's happened. That's why everyone that made the film, even Brendan Fraser, everyone's upset. They're like, oh, we want to see this movie. It's done. Can we see it? No, it's cancelled. And yeah, something like this has never really happened before. It's made a bit of a ripple in,
When did this happen? Because I have heard of it now that you mention it.
Yeah.
I just didn't, like, when you were talking about Batgirl, I was like, yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, now I do.
Yeah, it's a shame. I don't know why they wouldn't want to make some sort of profit out of it, but they looked at all their, overall costs, all the movies they produce, everything, and went, yeah, this is a loss we can accept. We'll just lose the money on this and not release it because they rather just steer themselves in a different direction now.
Like, are they thinking that if they release it, it would like do damage to the brand or something? Like,
I have no idea. I mean, I guess if they put it out and it was a huge success, they weren't really keen on making a sequel and continuing this franchise that they were going to start.
but
You know,
they don't have
maybe.
to do that.
No, I don't understand the
When will
thinking at
film
all.
studios realize they're not obligated to make sequels to things just because they're successful?
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I can't believe it even happened, and the fact that it's not getting ported anywhere, considering it's done. That's what people want to see. They're like, it's. I want to see Brendan Fraser. I want to see his performance as an arsonist. It'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Whether it's over the
Brendan
top
Fraser
or
already doesn't get enough roles as it is.
yeah. And so yeah, it's a huge shame, because that's people spending years and years of work getting this done, shot, caring about it. You know, actors researching it, trying to get it done right, for it to just be canned last second for
I wonder
no
if it's
reason.
just somebody's just gonna post the full thing online somewhere at some point and
Yeah,
leak it.
leak it. So I'd hope so. We see set photos every now and then. We got to see Brendan Fraser's birthday celebrated on set and a
Hmm,
couple of things like that. It's
that's
been pretty
cute.
sad. Um, so that's the almost the last bit of news I got. I got one more thing I want to touch on, and that's the second Avatar movie is coming out.
I've
Finally.
heard.
Sorry?
I've heard.
Yeah.
Um,
And they're re-releasing the original one theatrically, so everyone can just remember that this franchise even exists.
it's so weird. Avatar's like, I mean, I know it's not anymore because it's beaten out by like the MCU and some of the things, but this is like one of the biggest films ever,
Yeah,
and I've never met a person who actually like I
I
never met a person who like loves this movie.
yeah. Oh, I know what you mean. Whoever brings this up in conversation, like the
Like,
first
is
Avatar.
there a is there a single person alive who if you ask them their favorite movie, they would say Avatar?
I know. That's the problem.
I haven't even seen that. You probably have.
What's that?
You have seen it? I haven't.
What, you haven't seen the first Avatar?
No,
Oh,
I don't. I never. I mean, it didn't interest me at the time. I was like a 6-year-old,
yeah.
and
I was just kind of swept up in what everyone else was, and I was just taken
then
to
it
the
was never
movies to see
something
it.
that
I
intrigued me.
I
So I
remember
never
even
went
as a
back
kid
to it.
watching it, going, "That was a good movie," and that was it. It was good. It wasn't great. What it did and why I think it was
It
so
was a
widely
it
loved.
pioneered like breakthroughs in special effects or something,
Yeah,
right?
that's more or less kind of why I think it was a huge success. People just had never seen something this big of a scale and creative and whatever with its visual effects. The story, however, is the most basic, cliched, by the numbers.
You know, I remember
Tribal people
I
trying to
saw a
save a tree, the
video.
military trying to destroy their fucking shit. So as
You
a
know, I
kid, I
remember
didn't
I
think
saw a
much.
video. It was a guy who was like walking around like Los Angeles, and he was like, "All right, $20. Somebody can answer 3 questions." And the 3 questions were: name a character from a Marvel movie, name a character from a Star Wars movie, and then name a character from Avatar.
That's really good. They do so well and they get caught out in the last one. Oh, God. You'd say Spider Man, then Darth Vader, or Luke Skywalker. They're just,
And it's just like, what the fuck?
the blue one.
And I'm pretty sure at the time it was still the highest grossing film. This was like a few years ago that I saw this.
Yeah,
Um, it's like, what? It's like, yeah, they're
it's
really
insane.
like ambitious movies. They do well, but it's like that well.
Yeah. I can't believe it. It's still the highest grossing film of all time,
It's still.
period.
I thought it got beaten out by like Endgame
So
or whatever.
Endgame got so close and then they re released it to push its numbers above Avatar just to have that clout of saying, yeah, we're the highest grossing ever. But then I
So
think
they
it got,
cheated.
yeah, and then I think it got reducted and like it just doesn't count, even though it has made more money now, but on its, when it came out, what made the most. Um, yeah, still Avatar. And so yes, they're re-releasing it for people to catch up, and then straight after, it's getting a 4K release for the first time. And for whatever reason, James Cameron's messed with the movie and he's made it 60 frames per second. Supposedly, he's
Don't films
tinkered with it.
normally run at 24?
Yep, all films do except for Gemini Man with Will Smith, which was like, let's see if we can
What?
film a movie at 120 frames per second and get away with it.
What?
Yeah,
Uh,
that was done
g-
by Ang
That's
Lee and
like
Pearsall.
a mid superhero thing, isn't it?
No, that's
No,
just
Gemini Man is a different one. I'm thinking of Hancock.
yeah. Nah. Gemini Man is Will Smith versus Will Smith at
Yeah.
120 frames per second. Um,
How'd that go? I never saw it.
I didn't get around to it, but I've seen scenes before, and it just runs at such a smooth frame rate. It's almost uncomfortable, and I'm not sure how the hell they're gonna do Avatar at 60 frames. I mean, you'd have to digitally create frames in between frames, and
I mean,
it could look really
they
weird.
do that for things like people who like edit like old Disney movies to be in 60 frames. It always looks a bit off.
I've never seen any a Disney movie in 60 frames.
It's called like interpolation or something. It's something you can do with AI.
Yeah, no, I don't know why. If he does that to the 4K, I don't want it, and I don't even know if I'll pick up the Blu-ray because
Yeah.
it's not a movie I want to watch or put in. I just don't. And yeah,
Because like
I
the thing is, it's because like if it runs at 24 by default, if you're watching it at 60 frames per second, half of the frames didn't exist.
yeah,
They're like, you know,
yeah, I know what
weird.
you mean. For me, it's just how smooth it looks on a movie. It's not a great look. Video
Didn't
games, awesome because the faster a response you can get, the quicker you can react to things. But in a
didn't
movie, it's
Spider-Verse have like a frame rate thing?
they deliberately, like, the whole film is shot at 24 frames or it's rendered at that, but they deliberately have things move faster and slower by frames to give them a more stop motion effect. And uh you know at one point in the film, when older Spider-Man's with Miles and they're swinging in the trees away from the evil base or whatever in the snow, as Miles is just struggling to swing, he's moving at a different frame rate, and as he starts to swing in time with the other Spider-Man, his frame rate changes. They do a lot of really clever things like that, but the actual movie is at 24 still. It's a very complicated process, but it's a very, very cool film.
That's definitely the best Spider-Man movie to come out in a while.
It's probably my favorite since Spider-Man 2 in 2004. I like Spider-Man 3 a lot, but something about Into the Spider-Verse really hits hard. Like the way the origin story is and the way Miles is told. It's my favorite portrayal of Miles ever. But I'm getting a little off track. I just wanted to say that I do think it's smart the way that they're building up to this second Avatar movie, because yeah, it's been so long. They're re-releasing the first one for like a month in cinemas, then dropping a 4K of the first movie, and then in Christmas they're gonna have the second one come out. It's not a stupid way of doing it.
Years ago, they were supposed to have like 6 Avatar movies.
It's still happening apparently. We're still getting like 5 sequels.
I feel like whoever's making this one is going to be woefully disappointed when it doesn't do as well as the first.
Yeah, well, that'd be James Cameron, the man
Yeah.
behind it. Yeah, it's. I don't think it's that great. Visually, I get why it was impressive at the time, but the stories and plots are why I love movies. Really, I can watch Transformers and it's okay. I have a good time. I can deal with some explosions, but for a movie to really keep me there, and And for me to remember it, it's got to have an insane plot. You know, whether it's Fight Club, it's Jaws, you know, they've got to be just these great stories. Just you know what I mean. Everyone at home knows what I mean. I'm into more of those movies. I want a good story. I want to leave going, wow, that blew my mind, rather than it was Transformers 4 and it literally blew my mind because it was just blowing up in front of me for 3 hours with nothing else. Oh god.
Yeah.
That's a cinema experience I want to forget. But that's the story for another time. Thank you everybody so much for joining us and talking about Ghostbusters for a bit. Yeah,
We talked about Ghostbusters for like
half an hour.
30% of the podcast.
Yeah. But we gave it a fair shake. I don't hate it, but it's nothing special. It's nothing to go home about. I've finally seen it now after the hype of how much hate it was getting has died down.
Yes,
And
it was definitely a divisive movie when it released.
yeah. And yeah, it's just very mediocre. That's how I see it.
It's not really worth your time.
Nope. But yes, thanks everybody for watching. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. Next week we are talking about Batman Forever, which I am excited to dive into. If you haven't, consider dropping a like.
We'll probably only be talking about it for about an hour.
Yeah, roundabout. If you haven't already, drop a like or something. Just support in some way. Okay, we're growing this place. We're gonna make it a fun space to talk about nonsense and movies and maybe some games and other things in the future. I mean, we talked about GTA 6 today, and hopefully we can catch you guys next week or next time or whenever we talk to you. See you guys.
Yeah.